You asked me for how I met my man, story time. You asked, I'm delivering. I'm doing my fucking part. I'm delivering this story to you hot and spicy. I just want to make it very clear right now. It's going to be a 3-part story. We're going to do a 3-part series. So we're going to have it February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Whoa, look at me holding myself accountable. That means that by February 1st, it must be edited, ready, and uploaded. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you guys keep giving me on my page this year. Let me tell you, I plan to be consistent. Like, look, me and consistency are going to be brothers and sisters this year. I made myself a snack plate. For this story time. So prepare yourself. Please, you know what? Let me give you guys a minute. Let me give you a minute to go get your snack. Get your popcorn, get something. Pause right now. Like right now. Go get your snack. Go get what you need. Because this story time is about to be hot. I promise you, I'm not gonna go over 24 hours without uploading the part 2. A little prosecco for the situation. Also, if you're not already following me, follow me because my content is lit. I'm lit. Well, lit. When 2 lit people meet themselves on the internet, you know what happens? They become friends. So let's do that because now you're my friend and now we're friends. Like, follow me, share with your friends, comment on the section. So the year was 2021, like post-pandemic, you know, we're still trying to figure it out. Everybody's like either staying at home or like trying to figure it out. So that day I had a photo shoot with one of my friends. We had a photo shoot like all day that day. And so in the evening when we're done shooting, I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, blah, blah. I was just like trying to get something to eat. And so she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out. I'm not gonna eat. And I was like, oh, okay, where are you going to? Tell me, spill the tea. Girl, what are you doing out here in these streets? Because you and I belong to the streets. Let's do this. We belong to the streets. I want to join you in your street activity. And she was like, oh no, I've been talking to this guy. Now, and he wanted to take me out to dinner. And I was like, oh, cool, that's nice. I was like, so where are you guys going? And she was like, oh, actually, by the way, she was like, do you want to come? He's gonna come with one of his friends, and I think it would be cool so that way it's not just me that's there, and so that way it's not just the both of them and me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, first of all, for me, if you add food to any equation, I will be there. I wouldn't ask questions or anything. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course, whatever. And then she's like, no, so that way also you can bring your energy. And I was like, yes, of course, you gotta ask me for my energy because when the girl's in the room, you know it's lit. So we get ready and everything, and then she was like, oh, I'm gonna give them your address so that way they can come pick us up from here. And I'm like, look at my girl, she knows the rules. We ain't doing this shit. We're meeting you halfway. Come and pick me up from my location, my address. But also it's like, isn't it creepy then? And then they know your address, and then they know how to find you. But then also at that time, the apartment that I lived in, it's like ridiculous for you to actually know what apartment I lived in. We just told them, let us know when you're at the gates. So even if they were stalkers, they couldn't have found us. So we gave them my address, and she was like, let us know when you're 20 minutes out. And so they let us know that they're 20 minutes out. And so we went downstairs to meet them by the gate, right? We get there, so we get to the car and everything. And so the guy that she was coming, like the guy that she was going on a date with was the one who was driving, right? And then he had his best friend on the other side, like on the passenger side. And so he opens the door. I don't know how to explain, like, you know how you lean to the back and then you open the door from there instead of coming out of the car to open the door? And just like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. Chivalry is dead. But that's okay. We're independent women. It's okay. We can open our own doors or whatever. We get to the place, right? So when we get to the place, I guess sometimes at this point I had not really seen them in that sense. Because when they came to pick us up, it was dark during the car. Like, we had not really seen them. And so she had introduced me like, hey, this is my friend Jubilee. Jubilee, this is this person and this is this person. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll call them Mr. A and Mr. B. So this is Mr. A and Mr. B. Actually, my fiance, my now fiance, was the friends in the passenger seat. We come out of the car, and then they come out of the car. It had me in chokehold. Let me just tell you something. This guy's tall, motherfucking tall. I'm talking like 6'5", 6'6". I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, damn, they tall. But then he was like, yeah, but I started thinking like, yeah. In my head, like, guys, my friend and I were thinking the same thing. That's a good thing about this shit. And I hope he never sees this video. He's gonna kill me. But who cares? No one. So they come out of the car. They came to pick us up with like a truck. I don't know the names of cars. Anyways, that. And then I was just like, okay, yeah, this is very serious. Maybe they work in construction or something. And then I'm so bad. I should stop right now. I didn't stop. I need to stop my shade and tell you guys the story. Anyway, so we get in the house, we're there, we're like chit-chatting and everything. I always bring up the conversation. One thing with me is that I'm a full-on California girl, LA girl. I always bring up the conversation about signs. I'm very big on signs. I'm very big on like energy and things like that. And so I was talking about signs. This entire time, my fiancé had just been sitting down there quiet. First of all, he's this at that time I was like, why the fuck is he just so quiet? Like, doesn't he talk? Like, is he okay? Like, what's going on here? Because he was so freaking quiet. He will not say anything. And so he started contributing to the conversation because I asked him, I was like, oh, so what's your sign? And then he tells me, oh, I'm a Pisces. And I'm like, oh, okay, Pisces. Then he was like, oh, what do you think? Why did you say it that way? And then I was like, oh, because Pisces are this. So I was explaining to him. But the thing also is my best friend's husband is a Pisces as well. Do you get what I mean? Like, he's a Pisces as well. So I was like, oh yeah, I like Pisces. They're really cool. My best friend's husband is really, really cool. He's like one of my fave people. So we finished eating and everything. The food was good. We ate, like, I ate so much Cameroonian food that day. It was so good. Like, food was so tasty, so yummy. Like, the pepper, just the way you should be eating pepper. Anyway, that's not the story. So we leave and then we get to my apartment. So when we get there, then they were like, oh guys, oh, it was so nice meeting you, Jubilee. And then the friend was like, and hopefully we'll see you guys again. Hopefully we can do this again. And then my friend is like, oh yeah, bye guys, it was so nice to meet you guys. Have enjoy your life. Something like that. So very shady. And I was just like, he was so confused. And so we left and then we went like literally into the apartment and we sat down and she was like, did you like that? I was like, hell no. I was like, I don't want to ever see this guys ever again. Ever. Please do not.
Eternity later.
Oh, remember that guy that we went to the restaurant with his friend? And I was like, yeah, of course I remember him. And she's like, oh yeah, we've been talking. And I'm like, dun, 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 dun. She's like, no, he really is like a really cool guy. He's really nice. He's really sweet. Well, I'm like, so are you guys like seeing each other now or what? And she's like, no, we've just been talking over the phone. Da, 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 da. And so he wanted us to go out to dinner. And I was like, oh, cool. Where are you guys going to? And then she's like, oh, he just told me to pick a place and then we can go. And he wanted to bring his friend. I was asking if you're available. And I'm like, why is he bringing his friend again? Like, what is happening? Isn't this relationship between the both of you? Like, what is this? I was like, yeah, you know what, sure, whatever. Guys, let me show you my outfit that day because I was looking snatched, I was looking good, I was looking beautiful per usual. Yes, I'm even gonna pop a video here. That was me. I was looking, honestly, I was looking real cute. I was looking real cute. I was looking really, really cute. She had picked a restaurant, so he made reservations for the restaurant and all that. So we get there, but they got there before us. So we got there after them, as should be. And so we went in and we're like, oh my God, so nice to see you guys again. So we sat down and everything, and then we were ordering drinks, right? And so we're ordering the drinks. So she was talking to his friend. And also before we walked in, she had told me, she was like, oh, by the way, he just lost his brother. And I was like, girl, you gonna tell me the moment we are at the door? Jesus Christ of Nazareth, what the hell? So we get in, so that prompts a conversation, right? So I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I heard that you lost your brother. I'm so sorry about that. And he was like, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And so we started to talk. And then I was asking him, like, so what do you do? So he's like telling me all that. He's telling me what he does, blah, blah. I'm really listening. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So the more he talks, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, I guess you're interested. It was just so quiet, doesn't talk like as much, right, as me. And I don't know why that was frustrating to me in the beginning. I'm so confused as to why. Like, was it like some childhood trauma creeping up on me? I do not know. So we started to talk about like investments and money, because I was like, I'm very big on investments, like very big on understanding money, how to use money, things like that. I'm very big on that. So we started talking about that, and that's something that we connected on, because he does a lot of investments as well. So he started telling me, oh yeah, this, blah, blah. And then we're talking about crypto as well, and how crypto was becoming so popular, right? And then he was telling me about that, and then we're talking, so I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, after like the first drink, and then like when I was on my second drink, at this point, I was like, you know, I found myself flirting, like highly flirting. Let me tell you guys something. One thing about me is, bruh, I can flirt from now till next year. Jesus Christ, that's something that God is saving me from. God is saving me from, because I have found the one. But before then, hey, I was for the street. The streets was for me, period. That's all I have to say. I was definitely for the streets. I ain't gonna lie. My second drink, I was like, Kiki, I was like, oh my God. And I was laughing like, even when he said something that's not funny, I'd like, even he knew that it was not funny. And I'll be like, oh my God, stop it. Oh my God, really? I'm sure he was like, she's crazy. This girl is crazy. I just found that we started to flow. Like there was just like a nice conversation, right? And I swear to you guys, I know people always say this type of shit and you're like, yeah, that's not real, but it's like actually a thing. Oh, sorry, that was my speaker. I'm going up, but it's actually a thing. So while we're talking, right, suddenly it just felt like we were talking, like it was just us talking, if that makes sense. And the conversation just seemed so interesting, and we're there, and I was so present with the conversation, and he really was. And then I realized that as I was talking, he was like literally actively listening to me, which is something that I'm like, wait, I'm like, in my head, right, being for the streets, I was like, this guy just wants to hit, smash and go, but that's okay, I don't care. And so they were like, oh guys, do you guys want to go to this lounge instead so that we can go and like chill and whatever? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. And then he's like, oh, it's like a hookah lounge. I'm like, count me in, hookah, count me in. So we go to the hookah lounge, we're there, we're chilling and everything, we're talking. So we continue the conversation, and while we're there, so I ordered sangria, right? And when I ordered the sangria, so the sangria came and I tasted it, and my friend was like, oh my God, this sangria is not, it's really good. And I was like, oh no, you should taste my own sangria. And then he was like, wait, for real? And I was like, yeah, my sangria is like the best. Everyone says that it's the best. He's like, that's very interesting. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, and so who's everybody? And I'm like, everyone who has tasted my sangria, what are they talking about? He said, but that's not me. I was like, woo, boy. Woo. You trying to flirt with me? You trying to flirt with me? You trying to flirt with me? I said, well, that's true. That's not you. And then I was like, yeah, that's definitely not you. And then he's like, well, I like to be part of the people who say it's the best. And I was like, what do you mean you want to be part of the people? He's like, yeah. I mean, he's like, let me give my own judgments too. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, so I turned to the table because at this point I was getting hot. I was getting hot. But I was not thinking about it in a relationship way. I was just thinking about it like, this man is tall. This man is good looking. I just want to get it and bounce. That's what I said to myself.